The universe, so vast and silent, had always sparked human curiosity, but no one was prepared for the day it answered back. The signal wasn't a profound poem or an enigmatic message, but a meme. Yes, an alien meme. An amorphous figure dancing to a rhythm so chaotic it felt like a cross between experimental jazz and a cosmic rave. The scientific community was baffled. Was this an intergalactic joke or the beginning of a historic dialogue? Either way, there was a consensus. Humanity had to respond. Among those chosen to lead this first contact was Felix, a space engineer with a knack for improvisation and a long record of questionable decisions. Felix wasn't exactly what you'd expect from a galactic hero. He didn't have prestigious titles or the eloquence of a diplomat. In truth, he was a hands-on genius with a peculiar sense of humor that often landed him in trouble. When asked why he had been chosen, his supervisor replied without hesitation, "Because he's the only one crazy enough to find this situation funny." Alongside him were Helena, a brilliant astrophysicist and natural strategist, and Raj, a communication specialist with a secret passion for sci-fi movies. Together, they formed an unlikely yet necessary team to handle an alien encounter that was already off to, let's say, an unconventional start. The alien transmission intensified. In response to the meme, humanity sent a carefully crafted video filled with messages of peace, classical music, and images of Earth. The reply was unexpected. A massive ship appeared in the skies over the Pacific, shimmering like a metallic prism, emitting lights that seemed to follow the rhythm of an invisible melody. Humanity watched in awe as the object descended slowly, attracting onlookers, scientists, and, of course, a fair amount of panic. "Looks like they liked our video," Felix remarked with a nervous grin. "Or they came to complain about the soundtrack." At the center of the ship, a glowing sphere emerged, floating gracefully toward the human reception team. Before anyone could react, the sphere projected a hologram of alien figures resembling luminous octopuses. They were both fascinating and unsettling, with eyes that shifted colors in hypnotic patterns. The creatures didn't speak immediately but mimicked human gestures, like waving and giving a thumbs up. Felix, unable to contain his curiosity, exaggerated a movement, trying to mimic the alien greeting. To his surprise, the octopuses responded by blinking intensely, as if laughing. "I think they like me," Felix said, as Helena and Raj watched, half impressed and half concerned. When communication finally began, the aliens surprised everyone again. "Humans," said the deep, universal voice of the hologram, "you have been chosen for a test to determine your adaptability. Only the worthy may join the Galactic Alliance. Prepare yourselves." Felix, ever quick-witted, replied, "Tests? We're not great at those. Lots of cheating on exams." The hologram blinked in response, ignoring the joke. Shortly after, the sphere projected a holographic stage, indicating that the first challenge would be, of all things, a comedic performance. "A comedy show?" Helena asked incredulously. Raj just laughed nervously. "It's this or war, right?" With that, the makeshift team found themselves on the brink of historic first contact, armed with little more than courage, creativity, and a unique ability to turn absurd situations into something captivating. Humanity's future, it seemed, was about to be decided with humor, dance, and possibly a few missteps. The holographic stage looked more suited for an alien rock concert than an intergalactic test. Rows of floating chairs appeared in the empty space, while holograms of aliens blinked and shifted colors, signaling they were ready to watch. Felix, sweating nervously, glanced at Raj and Helena for support. "So, who's opening the show?" he asked, trying to sound confident. Raj stepped back, and Helena rolled her eyes. "This was your idea. Good luck." Before he could protest, a bright light enveloped him, pushing him to the center of the stage. Felix turned slowly toward the alien audience, wishing he had at least prepared a decent joke. The silence was absolute, interrupted only by a faint hum emanating from the holographic chairs. Felix cleared his throat and decided to start with something simple. "So, you must be thinking, who are these funny humans who think they can impress us?" No reaction. He tried again, Well, at least you didn't ask for karaoke. That would have been way more embarrassing. Still nothing. Helena whispered from the side of the stage. I don't think verbal humor is their thing. Felix took a deep breath and decided to improvise. He deliberately tripped over his own foot, nearly face-planting on the floor. The aliens' lights began to blink erratically, as if they were laughing. Ah, I get it. You like physical humor, he said, encouraged. From that point on, Felix turned the stage into a slapstick spectacle. He pretended to trip over invisible obstacles, mimicked zero-gravity movements, and even attempted to dance like the aliens, eliciting increasingly complex patterns of holographic laughter. Raj and Helena, watching from the sidelines, started working behind the scenes. Raj used his communication device to record the blinking patterns of the aliens' reactions, trying to decipher how they expressed emotions. Helena, meanwhile, analyzed the octopus's behavioral responses, noting what triggered the biggest laughs. This isn't just a show. They're studying us as much as we're trying to entertain them, she concluded. When Felix ran out of ideas and nearly out of energy, Raj had an inspiration. Felix, try involving them in the show. It might work. Felix nodded and pointed to the audience. And you out there, can you do this? He began imitating the light patterns displayed by the alien octopuses, moving his hands through the air like a conductor. To his surprise, one of the holograms responded, exaggerating his movements. Soon, more holograms joined in, transforming the test into a sort of collective interaction. Raj murmured, "This is brilliant. They don't just want to laugh. They want to see how we connect with them." The highlight of the show came when Felix, exhausted, slipped for real and landed flat on the floor, triggering an explosion of bright lights from the alien audience. Helena laughed for the first time in hours while Raj analyzed the data. They loved it. Looks like we passed, Raj said. But before they could celebrate, the holographic sphere floated to the center of the stage, emitting a pulsating light. First stage complete. Continue proving your adaptability. Felix, still on the floor, groaned. More tests? Are you trying to kill us with suspense? The team was led to a new area of the ship, where the holograms dissolved, revealing translucent corridors that led to a glowing core. As they walked, Helena commented, "That was unexpectedly effective." Felix grinned, rubbing his shoulders. "I knew those theater classes would pay off someday." Raj chuckled, but the relief was short-lived. The core began to vibrate, emitting a deep sound that echoed through the corridors. "Looks like the next test is going to be a lot more complicated," Helena said as the glowing sphere floated ahead, signaling it was time to move forward. The glowing sphere guided them through corridors that seemed alive, softly pulsing like a breathing organism. The translucent walls revealed the infinite expanse of space outside, dotted with stars and nebulas so close they felt within reach. Felix, awestruck, couldn't help but joke, "I think I finally found my new screensaver." Helena rolled her eyes, but even she couldn't hide her amazement at the grandeur of their surroundings. Each step they took was accompanied by a melodic sound, as if the ship itself was reacting to their presence. "This whole thing feels more like a symphony than a spaceship," Raj observed, adjusting his communication device to try and pick up signals from the environment. They arrived in a vast chamber, where the light from the central core shone like a pulsating heart. The sphere projected a hologram, revealing the alien octopuses in their full form. This time, the message was clear and direct. "The second stage will test your ability to adapt and overcome. You will face challenges that require not just logic but connection. Prepare yourselves." Before they could ask what that meant, the floor vanished, and each team member found themselves transported to an entirely different environment. Felix opened his eyes to find himself in an arid desert, with endless dunes under a merciless sun. The heat was nearly unbearable, and the air vibrated with dryness. "Great. I always wanted to die baked," he muttered, scanning the area for anything familiar. He noticed that the ground seemed to pulse faintly, emitting luminous patterns similar to the holograms on the ship. Instinctively, he began following the lights, stumbling over the sand as he tried to decipher the patterns. Meanwhile, Helena was in a completely opposite environment. A dense, vibrant jungle, where the trees looked like liquid glass and the air was thick with humidity. Every step she took was accompanied by the sound of plants shifting, as if they were alive. Everything here is reacting to me, she thought, trying to find a path through the trees. Luminous patterns glowed on the leaves but shifted positions every time she hesitated. Looks like they want me to make quick decisions, she murmured, adjusting her watch to record the patterns. Raj, on the other hand, found himself floating in an underwater environment, surrounded by currents of water that glowed like liquid stars. He struggled to control his breathing, realizing the environment was responding to his calmness. Panic is not an option, he thought, trying to manipulate the currents to form symbols that matched the patterns he'd seen earlier. It was both a physical and mental puzzle, and every wrong move seemed to destabilize the environment further. Each of them faced unique challenges, but there was a common theme: the luminous patterns. Felix eventually realized that his movements influenced the lights on the ground. It's like a game, he said, trying to match the patterns with his steps. After several frustrating attempts and a few stumbles, he managed to align the lights, creating a safe path out of the desert. Helena, using her analytical mind, began mapping the changes in the jungle trees, carving a path through the light patterns. Raj, after multiple attempts to control the currents, finally understood that he needed to swim in sync with them, fully harmonizing to form the correct pattern. When they finally completed their challenges, they were reunited in the ship's core. Felix arrived sweaty and exhausted but couldn't resist quipping, "If this is a test of adaptability, I'd like to adapt in a spa next time." Helena, still adjusting her equipment, gave him a tired look. "They're testing us for something bigger. It's not just about solving problems. It's about how we handle extreme situations." Raj, meanwhile, looked thoughtful. "The patterns we saw, they're part of something larger. Like a universal language we don't fully understand yet." The sphere reappeared, blinking with an intensity that almost seemed anxious. "You have demonstrated adaptability. Proceed to the next stage." But before they could move, the ship trembled violently, and a new message echoed through the chamber. "Intrusion detected. Containment protocol activated." Felix glanced nervously at the others. Is it just me? Or did this just get way more interesting? The environment around them began to change, and drones emerged from the walls, armed with glowing weapons that looked ready to fire. Helena, ever quick, began analyzing their movements. "They're following predictable patterns. We can find a gap." Raj adjusted his device, attempting to disrupt the drone's signals, while Felix, true to form, improvised. "Maybe I can distract them with my dance of desperation," he said, already flailing awkwardly. Absurd as it was, the drones actually focused on him, giving Helena and Raj the chance to work on their plans. With Raj's device, they managed to emit a pulse that temporarily deactivated the drones. But before they could relax, the sphere projected a new message. "Containment protocol compromised. You must restore the system." Helena sighed. "Now we're intergalactic IT technicians? This is getting out of hand." Still, the team followed the sphere to the next challenge, as the ship around them pulsed with increasing energy, hinting that the worst was yet to come. The ship's corridors pulsed with a red light as alert sounds echoed, making the entire structure feel alive and on high alert. The alien sphere floated ahead of the team, emitting a rhythmic sound, almost like a code that Raj was trying to decipher as they ran. "If these aliens trust machines this much, I think we just proved they need a decent antivirus," Felix joked, attempting to lighten the mood. Helena, however, was focused. "They mentioned restoring the system. That means the problem is bigger than us." Before they could get far, the drones reactivated, emerging from the walls and moving in synchronized formations. Their lights flashed in hypnotic patterns, as if communicating directly with the ship. Felix raised his hands, trying to appear harmless. "Hey guys, no need to shoot. We're all on the same side here, right?" Naturally, the drones didn't respond. One advanced, firing a beam of light that hit the ground mere inches from Felix's feet. "Okay, definitely not friendly," he shouted, scrambling backward. Helena and Raj quickly took charge. "They follow patterns. If we can interfere with their communication, we can disable them, Helena said. As Raj began adjusting his portable device, Felix, as always, took on the role of distraction. He started running in circles, waving his arms dramatically and shouting, "Look at me! I'm a helpless, ridiculous human." Absurd as it seemed, the drones focused on him, giving the other two enough time to work. Helena studied the drones' movements, noticing they grouped into specific formations before attacking. They're organizing around a central point, she observed. Raj tweaked his device, emitting an interference pulse that caused the drones to hesitate, their lights flickering erratically. "That should buy us a few minutes," he yelled. With the drones temporarily disabled, the sphere reappeared, projecting a new message: containment protocol compromised. Central systems at risk. Restore balance. Restore balance? Are they always this vague? Felix asked, still catching his breath. But Helena quickly understood. They're talking about the ship's energy. If we don't act fast, there could be a systemic failure. Following the sphere, they reached a central chamber where a panel glowed with alien symbols in constant motion. Raj began analyzing the patterns, trying to find logic in the apparent randomness. "This looks like a code, but it's changing based on our presence," he said, realizing that each movement they made caused the symbols to reorganize. Felix, as usual, had an impulsive idea. What if this is like the maze earlier? Maybe we need to align ourselves with the patterns. He started mimicking the symbols' movements, flailing his arms awkwardly. To everyone's surprise, the patterns responded, beginning to align. Helena sighed. "Felix, you're literally dancing with the ship's control panel." Raj laughed. "And it's working. Working together, they finally aligned the patterns, stabilizing the ship's core." The sphere blinked brightly, projecting a new message: system stabilized. "You have demonstrated collaboration and improvisation. Proceed to the next level." But before they could celebrate, the sphere revealed something unexpected. A holographic image of Earth, covered in luminous patterns similar to those they'd seen on the ship. "What is that?" Felix asked as the hologram began to expand. Helena frowned. "They're replicating the tests on Earth. This isn't just about us. It's about all of humanity." The sphere confirmed this, projecting a direct message. "The fate of your planet depends on collective success. You are not the only ones being tested." Raj analyzed the patterns on the hologram, his expression growing grim. "If the humans on Earth don't solve these tests, the consequences could be catastrophic." Felix, trying to ease the growing tension, quipped, "So basically, we're the stars of a galactic reality show. Someone should give us an award for this." Helena shot him a serious look. "The difference is, if we lose, there won't be a next season." With this revelation, the team braced themselves for the next challenge, knowing it wasn't just their survival at stake, but the fate of the entire human race. With the hologram of Earth still glowing in the central chamber, the team realized the test was far from over. The sphere projected a map showing specific coordinates across the planet. Major cities, vast deserts, tropical forests, and even underwater regions. Each location pulsed with the same luminous patterns they had encountered in the maze and earlier challenges. "They're expanding the test to all of humanity," Helena observed, analyzing the map. Raj nodded. "If we don't solve this, it looks like the planet itself could be affected." The sphere, as usual, floated silently before projecting an enigmatic message: harmony must be restored. "You are the bridge." Before they could ask what it meant, the room around them shifted. The floor disappeared again, but this time the team wasn't separated. Instead, they were transported to a new planet, a world that seemed like a living puzzle. Enormous walls of light formed a dynamic maze that constantly reshaped itself. Felix looked around, both impressed and terrified. "Anyone else feel like we're in a very expensive video game?" The maze wasn't just physical. It was psychological, shifting based on the team's decisions. As they moved forward, holographic images began appearing on the walls, depicting iconic moments from human history. Monumental achievements, like the moon landing, alongside tragedies, such as wars and natural disasters. Helena paused in front of one image, a reflection of an environmental crisis that had devastated parts of Earth. "They're testing us, but they're also evaluating us as a species," she said gravely. As they progressed, the challenges became more intricate. Certain paths required the team to choose between different routes, each with uncertain consequences. At one point, they faced a holographic dilemma. A projection of Earth split into two scenarios. One showed breathtaking technological advancements at the cost of depleted natural resources. The other depicted a balanced planet, but with limited technological progress. Raj turned to Helena and Felix. "This isn't just a test of logic. It's about our priorities as a species." Every decision they made caused the maze to react. Choosing a path that represented collaboration and sustainability made the walls glow with harmonious patterns. But hesitation or selfish choices caused the maze to tremble, threatening to close around them. "They're forcing us to confront our collective choices as humanity," Helena concluded, while Raj adjusted his device to record the patterns. Felix, as always, tried to diffuse the tension. "Well, at least we're not alone. If we fail, it'll be a group failure." Finally, they reached the maze's center, where a massive artifact radiated intense light. It pulsed with energy that seemed to connect directly to the coordinates on Earth they'd seen earlier. "This is the heart of the test," Helena said, approaching cautiously. Raj analyzed the data, his expression growing grim. "If we don't align the patterns here, the effects could ripple across the planet. Could cause catastrophic destabilization." Felix sighed. "So, basically, if we hit the wrong button, we blow everything up?" The core began projecting holograms of Earth's coordinates in real time. The images were unsettling. People worldwide facing challenges similar to the maze, trying to align luminous patterns in different contexts. In a desert, a group of scientists worked to decipher glowing symbols on the ground. In a bustling metropolis, civilians coordinated efforts to synchronize a network of lights. "They're replicating the tests on a global scale," Helena said. "But why?" The sphere responded with a simple message: survival depends on connection. With that, the team began working on the core, aligning the patterns using the data they had gathered. Felix, Raj, and Helena collaborated like never before, each contributing their unique skills. Helena mapped the patterns, Raj adjusted energy pulses, and Felix, surprisingly, figured out how to sync the core's movements by imitating the gestures of the alien octopuses. "Who would have thought I'd become the team's alien dance specialist?" he joked, eliciting a rare laugh from Helena. At last, the core's patterns aligned, emitting a brilliant light that seemed to connect the entire planet. The sphere projected a final message: "You have restored harmony. Humanity has shown it can learn and adapt." But the final test awaits. Felix stared at the others, incredulous. "Final? What do you mean, final? Don't we get a break or something?" The sphere blinked, almost as if laughing. Before they could react, they were transported back to the ship, where the alien octopuses awaited them with expressions that, for the first time, seemed curious. Back on the alien ship, the team was greeted by the holographic octopuses, which now seemed more alive and present than ever. Their colors pulsed in intense patterns, as though they were conversing among themselves. Helena observed closely, trying to find logic in their communication. Raj, meanwhile, adjusted his device, recording everything. "They're evaluating us in real time," he murmured. Felix shrugged. "Well, I hope they're evaluating us well. I don't want to be the guy who put humanity on the intergalactic blacklist." The sphere floated to the center of the room, once again projecting the image of Earth. This time, the planet appeared encased in a network of lights, pulsing in synchrony. The luminous patterns, identical to those in the maze, connected cities, oceans, and mountains in a continuous flow. But something was wrong. In some areas, the lights flickered irregularly, as though there were faults in the network. "That's not good," Helena said, scrutinizing the failures. "It means some parts of Earth didn't complete the challenges." The alien octopuses projected a new message, this time graver: "Harmony is incomplete. The final test will determine your species' fate." Raj frowned. "They're saying it's not enough to solve part of the problem. We need a complete solution. Felix sighed, running a hand through his hair. Great, more pressure. As if saving the planet wasn't stressful enough, the ship began to shift again, transporting the team to a larger chamber where a colossal hologram of the universe was projected. In the center, Earth glowed brightly, but it wasn't alone. Other planets scattered across different star systems were connected to the same network of lights. Helena froze as she realized what this meant. We're not the only ones being tested. This is a galactic experiment. The octopuses confirmed her suspicion with a clear message. Each species must demonstrate the ability to work in harmony with their planet and among themselves. Those who fail will not join the Galactic Alliance. Raj analyzed the data on his device. If I understand correctly, this isn't just about adaptation. It's about proving we can contribute to something greater. Felix, however, couldn't hide his skepticism. And if we fail, do they just ignore us forever? The answer was unsettling. Failure means isolation. Destruction is a secondary consequence. With the weight of the situation bearing down on them, the team began working to fix the faults in the network. Using the patterns they had learned in the maze, Helena and Raj started aligning the lights. Felix, as always, improvised, trying to synchronize the movements of the lights with the gestures the aliens had used during the comedy show. Who knew my alien dance skills would be so handy? He quipped, flailing his arms awkwardly. Raj chuckled, but Helena stayed focused. We need precision. One mistake and the network could collapse. As they worked, the Earth hologram began to react. In real time, the lights in problematic areas started to align, showing that their solutions were working. But progress was too slow. Raj noticed that some areas were still unsynchronized. We're running out of time, he said. We need a faster solution. Felix had another impulsive idea as usual. What if we ask the octopuses for help directly? They seem to love it when we connect with them. Helena hesitated but knew there was no other option. She turned to the octopuses and began mimicking the gestures Felix had used before. To everyone's surprise, the octopuses responded, blinking in vibrant colors and projecting additional missing patterns. Raj immediately integrated them into the system, and the lights across the hologram began to align completely. Felix grinned. I knew dancing would save the day. When the network finally stabilized, the Earth hologram shone brightly, signaling that the test was complete. The sphere floated to the center of the room, projecting a final message. You have demonstrated adaptability, collaboration, and resilience. Your species is ready to join the Galactic Alliance. But remember, this is only the beginning. The ship began to vibrate softly, as though preparing for something greater. Helena, Raj, and Felix were transported back to the main chamber, where the alien octopuses awaited them. This time, their colors were not just communicative, they were celebratory. One of the octopuses, larger and more imposing, approached, projecting a clear message. Humans, your journey begins now. You are more than survivors. You are part of something greater. Felix, still processing everything, turned to Helena and Raj. So, we passed? Can someone get me a medal or at least a pizza? Helena laughed for the first time in hours. We passed, but this is just the start. With that, the team was guided back to their smaller ship, ready to return to Earth and share the news, but also aware that even greater challenges awaited them in the vast universe. The smaller ship glided through hyperspace with impressive smoothness, as if it were sliding down a cosmic highway. Felix, gazing out the window, watched the bright glow of Earth, which seemed even more alive after their success in the test. Have you thought about what you're going to say when we get back? Maybe something like, hey, everyone, we saved the world while you were solving intergalactic puzzles? Raj chuckled, adjusting his communication device. I think we need something more diplomatic. Like, congratulations, you've unlocked the next level of existence. Helena remained silent, simply staring out, processing everything that had happened. The impact of the test wasn't just personal. It was global. The images projected by the alien sphere had shown how different groups on Earth, from scientists to everyday people, worked together to solve the challenges. For the first time in centuries, Humanity seemed united, albeit under unprecedented pressure. Helena broke the silence, looking at Raj and Felix. You realize what this means, right? It's not just about joining the Galactic Alliance. It's about proving we can collaborate, no matter how different we are. Felix smiled, though there was a rare seriousness in his tone. Well, if we can keep that unity, maybe we actually deserve to be out there. When the ship landed back on Earth, they were greeted by a crowd of scientists, world leaders, and onlookers. News of the galactic test had already spread, and everyone was anxiously awaiting answers. Felix, as usual, broke protocol first. Yes, it's true. Aliens love bad jokes and awkward dances. Who knew that would be humanity's survival secret? The crowd laughed, but Helena quickly stepped in, taking the microphone. The truth is, we weren't just tested as individuals but as a species. And we succeeded because we worked together. The alien octopus's message was officially transmitted to humanity. They made it clear that joining the Galactic Alliance was not just a privilege but a responsibility. Access to new technologies and knowledge would bring great benefits, but also immense challenges. You have proven you can adapt, but your journey is just beginning, the message declared. Helena knew this would spark profound changes. Governments and organizations would need to abandon old ways of thinking and embrace collective action, while scientists and explorers would have to expand their horizons far beyond Earth. In the weeks that followed, as Earth adjusted to its new reality, Felix, Helena, and Raj prepared for their next mission. They had been chosen as humanity's official representatives in the Galactic Alliance, tasked with exploring new worlds, establishing diplomatic connections, and continuing to prove humanity's worth in the universe. Felix, as always, lightened the mood before their departure. So, officially, we're galactic ambassadors now. I just hope that comes with a cool badge. And maybe an intergalactic buffet. The farewell ceremony was emotional, filled with speeches and promises of a brighter future. Helena, watching the crowd, couldn't help but smile. I never thought I'd see the day we'd stand united like this. Raj, adjusting the final controls of the ship, nodded in agreement. I think we just needed a push, even if that push was a crazy alien test. Felix, looking out the window as Earth grew smaller and smaller, sighed. Well, at least now we know we're not alone, and hopefully we won't screw it all up. With the stars shining ahead, the team embarked on their new journey, carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire species. The universe, once so vast and unreachable, now felt a little closer. Yet at the same time, the unknown had never seemed so immense. They knew greater challenges lay ahead, but they also knew that, together, they could face them. Humanity had taken its first step as part of something much larger, and nothing could stop them now.